Rogue immediately. He knows his opponent. He knows that MAXPAX gets weird. So throwing down the 12 pool. Making no secret that he's gonna do his own level of aggression. So now this is, so I talked in the previous team matchup that there were some hidden silver linings with all of our events going online due to the pandemic. And I think another one of those hidden advantages is the opportunity to be able to see matchups like this. And there weren't many opportunities where foreigners and Koreans would be able to compete against each other in major or premier level events without specifically like queuing up a show match or just even putting together special events to bring those two parties together. But having something like the World Team League allows for more of these opportunities to be prevalent, and we're getting matchups that 2-3 years ago might have been less probable or even just less predictable. So kind of a cool opportunity here to see two of these players go up. Now Rogue is not going to do any major amounts of aggression behind this. Just going to take these 6 lings and work with what he's got. Does have 1 ling chasing a fair number, or a probe around on the map. I guess he does have a few more lings than just 6. That's my apologies. But he's not building up a whole bunch back at home. He's getting his queen. He's droning up back at home. He's going to see what he can get done with this, though. Already putting a lot of damage down onto one of the zealots, but it's a good hold so far. Rogue's going to get out and cut his losses. So MAXPAX does lose 1 probe, but all things considered, and everything else is going to heal shield. And this ends up being an okay defense by MAXPAX so far. So Rogue going to get out to his 3rd base. It appeared maybe he wanted to keep the pressure on, but decided not to continue with that. Two of those Zerglings are just going to get up into the main base. All right. So MAXPAX, what are you going to do here, friend? You've brought 2 Adepts along. There is no Ling speed, so it's fair to try and engage on this. Gonna lose all of those Zerglings, and most of the units, the unit count still preserved at this point. This is going to be a fair amount of damage put down onto the 3rd base location. I think he could potentially try and drop the production there, but instead is going to try and rotate here. The Zealots have gotten a bit of their shields back. One of those queens actually goes down. MAXPAX getting a lot of value out of these units here. Great micro by the Adepts as well. A 2nd queen is going to go down. This is incredible damage here. Finally, a couple of these units are actually going to fall. One of the Zealots and one of the Adepts, but that is an insane amount of damage for the cost value here. Picking off 3 queens. Absolutely shutting down a lot of the early game economic potential here of his opponent in Rogue. 3 queen. Look at that damage here. Almost doubling the value. I cannot imagine that Rogue was expecting to lose that much to the tiny aggressive push of his opponent. So he is going to have to make some adjustments here, as MAXPAX is just going to continue rolling on forward. He's got his Stargate already done and in place. A Void Ray, I was going to say, you're going to leave that that Overlord there, my friend? Absolutely not. So Rogue's a little bit annoyed by that. Again, love having the webcams here to see how they react, and Rogue's not happy with how this is opening so far. I think didn't expect this much out of his opponent. So MAXPAX is starting to position himself. showing off the Void Ray, but it's not going to be a complete commitment into the Void Ray path here. He did immediately drop down the Twilight Council. Twilight Council is now finished up. Rogue taking this opportunity to try and get himself into a better economic situation, but we are going to have a delayed Resonating Glaives timing on the backside of this aggression. Oh, more queens going down. MAXPAX is getting so much economic damage done. A third queen is going to be put into pressure, and all of these units are not going to be in a dangerous position. It could be a fourth queen down if the Oracle had enough energy, but not going to be the case at this point. MAXPAX is finding ways to make this happen and make this work in his favor. Now, the unfortunate part for MAXPAX is that Rogue is going to be able to spot this timing of the Twilight Council. So knowing that there is not going to be a more concerted effort into air units will be a bit of a problem. The layer now finishes up. Roach production is going to be allowed to begin, and Glial Reconstitution also on the menu as well. So if Rogue can continue to hold in a strong way, he should have what he needs to deal with the incoming Glaive Adept timing. But to MAXPAX's credit, Rogue has killed, what, 6 queens? So many injects. That's so much creep spread that's gone. It's going to get on to another queen. This is about the right way to go about this, is to prevent any of the extra injects to prevent more defense by Rogue. So I think Rogue's gonna be okay though. Now 9 workers did end up going down. I think the Void Ray did finally get picked off, but it's 3 Stargates now. Rogue does not know that this is coming. This is this is a ton of mind games from MAXPAX. MAXPAX doing a nice job. He's already up onto 3 bases as well. I mean, Team Exxon's gotta be feeling really, really proud of their player here in the red trunks on the top left side. +1 air weapons being researched here by MAXPAX. It is going to be a lot of tier 2 research coming down for Rogue. Hydra on the way, the infestation pit already complete as well. So getting up to Hive Tech really, really quickly. Wanting to have access to those tier 3 units should this game start to go into a quick format to get to carriers. But yeah, at this point now Rogue is going to be able to sense that there are more air units incoming. These roaches are going to be, I mean, they're going to be useless at home. They need to find value out across the map. And MAXPAX needs to be careful he doesn't undercommit to the defense here. I think he might try to pick off a few of these workers, get maybe a couple hundred more queens on the kill count. Well, as I say, I think he could stay. Again, he can't undercommit this, though. When is he going to be able to get those Void Rays out and back? Oh, I don't think it's going to matter. This is going to be a very, very late pull here. He will be able to recall all of the Void Rays, and then a few more spawn in back at home. But it is going to come at the cost of too many probe kills for MAXPAX. And a cancel on the force. Oh, it's a fair amount of damage here. It's going to be double-digit probe kills? MAXPAX is flipping away from you. But, I mean, going up against the world champion here in Rogue, so can't hardly argue with how this game has gone out. This game has lasted a lot longer than I expected it to. It's going to be Vipers. Oh yeah, the carriers have begun. This game's wild. This game's gone on way longer than I expected it to, and MAXPAX playing outstanding. But here's the problem. Rogue's going to spike up in supply right now. MAXPAX needs a fair amount of time to be able to build up into his carrier count army to really deal some of that crucial damage. He is going to take the opportunity to get flux veins, so those voiders are going to be a lot more powerful. But again, against 14 more incoming Hydras, against an army of rogue that's going to max out here very quickly and push across the map to deal some lethal damage, is he going to have the time that he needs? Those carriers not only cost a fortune, but they take forever. Oh, Viper's going to be instrumental here in picking off this Void Ray count. 191 to 128. Now, carriers are out and will be very instrumental in the defense here, but as more Hydras get added into the mix and the Vipers get brought across the map, this will quickly become potential game-ending damage. But MAXPAX has what he needs to try and hold this down in place. But again, that's a scary number of Hydras, and the Vipers are going to be brought in here. Good, it pulls onto those carriers. One carrier gets tapped down, 2 carriers down. And with those carriers lost, so too there's a lot of the pressure that MAXPAX can exert over his opponent. Oh, holding on for dear life, trying his best, but there just isn't that much DPS to deal with the remaining amount of Hydras. Void Rays are good, the carriers are good, but lots of units are unfortunately better. 2 carriers remain here. There is 1 disruptor waiting in the wings to try and get some good damage follow-up here. A nice little zealot run by, but I think the queens and the reinforcing units should be enough here. Rogue has already remaxed his army, 174 to 94. MAXPAX has run out of steam here in game number 1. It's all over but the crying at this point. The Lurker Tech still on the way as well, so Rogue has a way to position himself. 19 probes have gone down. The 3rd base is lost. GG. Rogue takes game number 1. For Team Exxon, this is MAXPAX. And spawning in the bottom left. For Dragon Phoenix Gaming, this is Rogue. Trying to find the nice balance back and forth between all of the audio and visuals. It's so nice when I'm able to cast with a clean feed, because then I can just focus on talking about the game. And isn't it interesting that some of the commentary is enhanced just because I'm not having to move around the map myself? What a wild thought. Now, Rogue opting to open a bit more standard here, going hatchery first. So, hatch gas pool opening for MAXPAX. I'll have to see, or excuse me, hatch gas pool opening for Rogue. My fault. I'll have to see where MAXPAX wants to go with it. He's going to go Nexus first. So, opting to be a little bit more economic. But Rogue is going to take a 2 hatchery opening here. Okay. Go off, Rogue. MAXPAX is going to see this. How is MAXPAX going to respond, though? I mean, it's going to be difficult to get a quick amount of units to move and try and punish this early game greed. But this should open up a window for MAXPAX to put on some good pressure. Could it very easily get into quicker Void Rays here in game number 2. And he does have that Stargate coming down. I think one thing to note, though, would be the queen pressure. So having that extra quick third base will allow for more queen production. That's going to allow for better protection against the void rays of MAXPAX. So we're going to have to see how things continue to play out, but I think MAXPAX senses a bit of the urgency here. I wouldn't be surprised to see a second Stargate get thrown down to enhance the overall timing of the void rays coming across the map. But right now, just throwing down an extra gateway. Not gonna panic. Nothing to see here. Yeah, there goes the second gate, or the second Stargate. So it will be continued effort to create some air dominance to punish the greed of Rogue here at the beginning of the game. It's going to go to a fast fleet beacon. So that means we're going to see some flux veins brought into the equation as well. So MAXPAX is banking on the fact that, all right, Rogue has decided to go out into that quick 3 base. I'm going to take my 3rd base a little bit early as well. But I'm going to hope that you are choosing to tech and to go economic, and that I can punish you for it. And that seems to be the case right now, because the Roach Warren's going to come down. Grabbing that lair is going to limit the queen production, but it's still 2 queens coming out from the other 2 bases. Oh, it's going to be Tempest. Look at that. Okay, all right. This is what I was talking about pregame before this series. MAXPAX has got a lot of options. He's got a lot of choices. Ways to get weird. That sounds like a great YouTube series following aggressive players. Welcome back to Ways to Get Weird. StarCraft series showing you the best ways to throw your opponents off in StarCraft 2. Oh man, I think I need to squat on that. I think I'm sitting on something here. All right, well, if somebody takes that idea before me, we have video evidence. You guys were all here. Wait a minute, that was Rushi's idea. Zerglings are going to spot the first Tempest, and immediately Aspire is going to go down. So it's an unfortunate scout here for MAXPAX, because I think even just a couple of seconds could add a whole lot of value to the response of this build. Tempest can one-shot workers. I did know that. That was just something that my brain forgot about, because it's been so long since I've seen Tempest attack workers. Now, Flux Veins has been allowed to complete. It is going to be an additional Stargate coming down as well. Queen's off creep. Gonna try and engage that Tempest. That Tempest has got to be careful. And the queen count is insanely high right now. Still pumping out 3 queens at a time. The Voider is going to go into the center and deal a lot of Overlord damage. So supply cap is going to be significantly less. There's going to be 5 Overlords brought onto the production tab, and that's admittedly very annoying for Rogue. He doesn't want to be spending his minerals on Overlords right now. He wants more queens. And he needs to spend money on corruptors, and corruptors are going to come out in large form. There will be 9 available. Man, he's got 2 giant queen forces right now. MAXPAX going to try and find more damage here with this Tempest. And unfortunately, the Tempest is just going to get caught in the center. Seeing the Spire is going to be very important. Not a surprising turn of events here for MAXPAX, but good to know that that is in fact coming. Tempest is going to get into the back left corner with a little bit of life, but Not for very long. All in all, killing 13 total drones for the cost of 2 Tempest is not a bad position to try and play from. But all in all, it was just an opportunity to buy time for the overwhelming corruptor count. And the corruptor gets healed. Amazing. Now, MAXPAX not down and out of it just yet. He is going to throw down 5 gateways to add in some extra value to this army. More than likely to get some stalkers and zealots to help engage on the ground. But it is a large amount of void rays in production right now. 4th base coming as well, plus 2 air weapons on the way. This has been a pretty solid opening by both players. I think the Tempest play is rather unique and interesting. I think that's cool. But once again, Rogue is gearing up for a big push here. Lots of Void Ray damage going to come down onto these Corruptors. Now, will the Corruptors be able to engage this? No. No, what a great turn of events here for MAXPAX. Good amount of protection by the Archons. Help keep this a fighting battle for him. 14 Corruptor kills for 6 Void Rays. Wow. Oh. Rogue's just bringing everything along. He's got 1 million queens, and he's going to try and put them to good use. Queens are going to be able to offer some transfuses as well. Those are going to be very valuable. Oh, he files a couple of his own units. That's not exactly what you wanted to do. But this is going to be a dead 4th base. I don't think I see a scenario where this is not going to be a good push for Rogue. Rogue continues to remain maxed out. I think the Void Rays are losing a little bit of steam as well. The Warp Prism tries to go out onto the map. I don't believe that was allowed to survive. All of the probes are going to get picked off at that 3rd base location. MAXPAX is in a bit of trouble. Reinforcing roaches will keep the Archons at bay, but now the Queens will be the instrumental force here to finish cleaning off the Void Ray count. Eventually, Corruptors are going to get added back into the mix, but once again, Rogue, I don't think has dropped below 190 supply for the last 2 minutes, and he's been trading out a significant amount of workers. Losing access to the Cyber Core, that means it's only Zealot Warpins at this point. More Void Rays will be useful, but once again, there's just so many units for Rogue. Continuing, 189. There, he finally drops below the 190 threshold. But he's been remaxing in Hydras. So this army's going to push across the map, and I think it's going to be met with a strong anti-air ground army that will end up putting the game to bed here, and so to the series. Once again, MAXPAX has a weird supply icon. I don't know, is it on a number that the system doesn't like? It's weird. Very, very interesting. Well, MAXPAX not to be deterred here. Gonna try and rotate technology once again, getting more Tempest out. Oh, Rogue thought about it. He thought about going back home, and he's like, nah, I'm just gonna go win the game. He has a giant army. I don't know that MAXPAX has anything to be able to shut this down in its entirety. A great corrosive bile falls down on a chunk of those Void Rays. Few more Tempests are going to add a good amount of firepower to this army, but will Rogue find the damage on the ground that he needs? Hydras are going to start a step forward and pick off one of the Tempests, and now the Roaches should be able to start working on probes as well. So MAXPAX's economy is going to start taking a hit here as he hits double-digit losses onto the worker count. This is a valiant effort by MAXPAX. MAXPAX coming in with some very, very creative builds, but unfortunately, it's going to not be quite enough to deflect all of the damage here. The third base nexus is going to go down. That's a good bile onto those Void Rays. The Void Rays are going to have to be very, very cautious moving forward. Oh, gee. Now Rogue has an indeterminate amount of supply. Oh, I've just never seen that before. And it tickles me, and I don't know why. I think the Tempest were good. It was a great thought choice here. Ravager Biles are very, very well placed here, forcing MAXPAX into a lot of unnecessary micro. Losing out on the 4th base location. 15 workers have gone down. MAXPAX drops below 100 supply in total. And I think we are very close to seeing a GG being called in Rogue's favor. The world champion exercising why he is one of the greatest players in StarCraft 2, and Rogue secures a 2-0 victory over his opponent, MAXPAX.